Imagine our entire cosmic calendar, a single year for all of time. If the Big Bang is January 1st, our human story is just seconds before midnight on December 31st. From the dusty plains of our ancestors to today's gleaming screens, our journey is an epic saga of survival, discovery, and wonder. This is the story of us all, and it begins at the beginning. Our story accelerates with the birth of civilization. For hundreds of thousands of years, we were wanderers, nomads following the herds and the seasons. Our communities were small, our possessions few. But then, something shifted. In several places around the globe, almost as if a switch was flipped, we began to settle down. We learned to cultivate the land, to domesticate animals. This was the agricultural revolution, and it changed everything. For the first time, we could create a surplus of food. We could stay in one place. And with that, villages, towns, and then the first great cities were born. These new cities were like human beehives, buzzing with activity and new ideas. In the fertile river valleys of Mesopotamia, Egypt, India, and China, societies of incredible complexity emerged. We invented writing, a way to make our thoughts and memories permanent. We created laws to organize ourselves and governments to lead us. We built monumental structures like the pyramids and the ziggurats, testaments to our ambition and our new power to shape the world. This was the age of the first civilizations, a time when our small tribal stories began to merge into a larger, shared human narrative. From these early cradles, empires rose and fell like waves on a cosmic ocean. The Greeks gave us philosophy and democracy. The Romans engineered aqueducts and roads, connecting their vast empire. Mighty dynasties in China built the Great Wall and invented gunpowder. Across the world, great thinkers and prophets gave us new ways to understand the universe and our purpose within it. Ideas, goods, and sometimes armies traveled along new trade routes like the Silk Road, connecting cultures and spreading knowledge. Each empire left its mark, a layer of sediment in the geological strata of history. As one era faded, another was always beginning. The Middle Ages gave way to the Renaissance, a spectacular rebirth of art, science, and exploration. We looked at the world and the stars with new eyes. This led to the Age of Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution, which harnessed the power of steam and steel, shrinking our planet once more. And that brings us here, to the modern era, an age of quantum physics, digital information, and space exploration. From a simple stone tool to the starlight captured by our telescopes, our journey has been nothing short of miraculous. Let's begin this epic journey together. Our story begins on foot. Millions of years ago, our ancestors rose up and walked on two legs, freeing their hands for new possibilities. This simple act sparked a revolution. Hands could now carry food, make tools, and shape the world. The first stone tools were born, launching the journey of technology and culture that would carry us across the planet. For most of our history, we were hunter-gatherers, living in small bands, deeply connected to nature. We moved with the seasons, following animals and wild plants, our senses finely tuned to the world around us. We created art, told stories by firelight, and began to imagine our place in the world. For thousands of years, humans lived as hunter-gatherers. Then, as the Ice Age ended, some began to plant seeds and tame animals. This agricultural revolution changed everything. People settled, built villages, and produced food. Surpluses grew, populations soared, and civilization began. The agricultural revolution planted a seed, and from that seed grew something new. The city. Villages became sprawling labyrinths of homes, temples, and public squares. For the first time, thousands of strangers lived together, sparking innovation, conflict, and community. This was the dawn of civic identity and the birth of social hierarchy. Civilization first flourished along great rivers, Mesopotamia's Tigris and Euphrates, and Egypt's Nile. The Sumerians of Mesopotamia built the earliest cities, invented the wheel, and developed cuneiform writing and advanced mathematics. Their ziggurats and priest-kings fused religion with state power, organizing society around divine authority. Meanwhile, Egypt thrived on the Nile's predictable floods, which brought stability and optimism. Egyptians believed in order, Ma'at, and an afterlife, leading to mummification and the construction of the Great Pyramids. These monuments were not just tombs, but symbols of unity, power, and engineering genius. Both civilizations show how geography, belief, and innovation shaped the earliest complex societies. Their legacies, writing, monumental architecture, and centralized rule, still echo today. Far from Mesopotamia and Egypt, the Indus Valley and ancient China rose independently. The Indus people built cities like Mohenjo-Daro with grid streets and advanced sanitation, hinting at strong, organized governance. Their script remains undeciphered, and their society may have been more egalitarian than others. In China, the Shang dynasty left evidence of bronze mastery, ancestor worship, and the earliest Chinese writing, oracle bones. These societies innovated in urban planning, technology, and belief, each in their own way. The Indus and Shang show that civilization's roots are diverse and mysterious. Their influence endures in the languages, traditions, and urban forms of South and East Asia. Even today, their unsolved mysteries invite us to keep searching for the origins of our world. As cities grew, so did the need to record and organize, giving birth to writing. In Mesopotamia, pictographs evolved into cuneiform, allowing knowledge, laws, and stories to be preserved and shared. The Code of Hammurabi set out written laws for all to see, establishing justice and order. Writing empowered a new class of scribes and made complex societies possible. Trade networks blossomed. Mesopotamians swapped grain for timber, Egyptians for cedar, and Indus merchants sailed to distant lands. Goods, ideas, and technologies flowed across continents, connecting once isolated worlds. The wheel, writing, and new gods traveled with traders. The first age of globalization had begun, forever changing human history. Writing and trade became the engines of civilization's growth. Cities gave rise to empires, vast, multicultural states forged by conquest and ambition. Empires like Persia, Greece, Rome, and Han China united diverse peoples under shared laws, currencies, and infrastructure. They built roads, aqueducts, and monumental architecture, organizing society on a grand scale. Imperial peace enabled trade and communication across continents, but empires where fragile internal strife, invasions, and disease could bring them down. Their rise and fall shaped the ancient world, leaving behind ruins and legends. Empires spread ideas and technologies, but also brought conflict and change. The cycle of empire, creation, glory, and collapse echoes through history. In ancient Greece, power shifted from empires to the human mind. City-states like Athens pioneered democracy, giving citizens a voice in government. Greek thinkers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, used reason and debate to explore the universe, justice, and the good life. Their art celebrated human potential. Their theater examined society's deepest questions. Alexander the Great spread Greek culture from Egypt to India, blending it with local traditions. This fusion created the Hellenistic world, a crossroads of ideas and innovation. Greek philosophy, science, and art became the foundation of Western thought. The Greek legacy endures in our politics, science, and culture. Rome rose from a small city to a vast empire, uniting the Mediterranean world. The Romans built roads, aqueducts, and cities, mastering engineering and administration. Their republic gave way to empire, ruled by powerful emperors. Roman law, language, and citizenship created a shared identity across continents. At its height, Rome was a world of its own, but internal strife and invasions led to its fall. The Western Roman Empire ended in 476 CE, marking the dawn of the Middle Ages. Yet Rome's influence, its laws, architecture, and ideals shaped Europe for centuries. The idea of Rome lives on, inspiring civilizations to this day. While Rome rose in the west, China and India flourished in the east. Qin Shi Huang unified China, built the Great Wall, and set the stage for the Han Dynasty's golden age, marked by the Silk Road and a merit-based government. In India, the Mauryan and Gupta empires brought unity, prosperity, and scientific breakthroughs, like the concept of zero and the decimal system. Diverse traditions flourished, shaping the rich cultures of both civilizations. As empires connected the world, new ideas about the divine traveled these routes, transforming societies. In Judea, Jesus preached love and salvation, sparking Christianity, which spread despite persecution. In India, Siddhartha Gautama became the Buddha, teaching a path to end suffering. Buddhism spread across Asia, offering hope beyond social hierarchies. Alongside Judaism's monotheism, these faiths reshaped humanity, uniting people with shared beliefs. When the Western Roman Empire crumbled, it left a power vacuum. This era, often called the Dark Ages, was a time of transformation. Feudalism emerged, a pyramid of promises with kings, lords, and knights. The Christian Church became the unifying force, preserving knowledge. It was an age of faith with Gothic cathedrals and new legends. While Europe was reorganizing itself, a new and brilliant civilization exploded out of the Arabian Peninsula. Inspired by the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad in the 7th century, Arab armies, united by the new faith of Islam, swept across the Middle East, North Africa, and into Spain. They created a vast empire, or caliphate, larger than Rome at its peak, stretching from the Atlantic to the borders of India. This was not just a military conquest. It was the dawn of a spectacular golden age of science, philosophy, and art. The Islamic world became the new center of gravity for learning and innovation on our planet. Cities like Baghdad, Cairo, and Cordoba became the world's greatest centers of scholarship and culture. While many in Europe were struggling to preserve the past, scholars in the Islamic world were actively building upon it. They eagerly translated the great works of the Greeks, Persians, and Indians into Arabic. In Baghdad's House of Wisdom, a legendary library and academy, Muslim, Jewish, and Christian scholars worked together, studying everything from medicine to astronomy. They didn't just preserve ancient knowledge, they critically examined it, corrected it, and expanded upon it, creating a vibrant intellectual synthesis. This era saw breathtaking scientific and mathematical breakthroughs. The scholar Al-Khwarizmi pioneered algebra, a word derived from Arabic, and helped popularize the Hindu-Arabic numeral system, including the revolutionary concept of zero, which made complex calculations possible. Doctors like Ibn Sina, known as Avicenna in the West, wrote vast medical encyclopedias that were used as standard textbooks in Europe for centuries. Astronomers built sophisticated observatories, accurately mapping the stars and improving upon the ancient Greek models of the cosmos. Their contributions laid much of the groundwork for the later scientific revolution in Europe. Beyond the Islamic world, other great kingdoms flourished. In West Africa, empires like Ghana and Mali grew fabulously wealthy from their control of the trans-Saharan trade in gold and salt. The city of Timbuktu became a renowned center of Islamic learning and commerce. In China, the Tang and Song dynasties presided over their own golden ages, marked by incredible inventions like printing, gunpowder, and the magnetic compass. Technologies that would eventually find their way west and change the world. Far from being a dark age, this period was a time when civilization was shining brightly in many different parts of our world. The later Middle Ages brought new connections and new dangers. Crusaders returned with spices and ideas, sparking booming trade between East and West. Marco Polo's travels revealed a vast, sophisticated world. But these trade routes also carried the Black Death, devastating Europe and changing society forever. In the wealthy city-states of Italy, a new spirit was born, the Renaissance, meaning rebirth. Inspired by ancient Greece and Rome, artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo created masterpieces celebrating human potential and realism. The invention of the printing press spread these revolutionary ideas, fueling an explosion of knowledge that transformed Europe and the world. For millennia, humanity relied on muscle, wind, and water. But in 18th century Britain, the steam engine was born, unleashing a revolution. Factories and railways transformed cities, shrinking the world and connecting people like never before. Yet this new age brought crowded cities, harsh labor and deep social divides, power and hardship side by side. The fires of the Renaissance and Enlightenment sparked ideas of liberty and rights. In 1776, American colonists declared independence, inspiring revolutions worldwide. The French Revolution soon followed, radically remaking society in the name of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Across the world, people demanded new nations and new ways to govern, forever changing history. Industrial and military power fueled a final burst of empire building. European nations, armed with machine guns and steamships, carved up Africa and Asia, creating a world dominated by a few powers. World War I shattered old beliefs, destroyed empires, and left the world wounded and uncertain. The Second World War was even more devastating, ending with atomic bombs and a new, fearful age for humanity. From the ashes of World War II, a new global order emerged, split between the US and Soviet Union, locked in a tense Cold War. The digital revolution put immense power in our hands, connecting the world like never before. Yet our progress brings challenges: climate change, inequality, and ethical dilemmas. The next chapter is unwritten. We are the ones shaping the future right now. From the first upright steps on the African savanna to the giant leap on the moon, our journey is vast. Empires rise and fall. Ideas reshape our world. Profound connections and conflicts define us. Change is constant. Our drives remain the same. Struggles for freedom echo today. We share a common destiny on this small blue planet. Our epic journey does not end here. It brings us to this very moment, to you, reading these words. The past is a vast library of stories that have already been written, but the future is an unwritten chapter. We are standing on the shoulders of every farmer who planted a seed, every philosopher who asked a difficult question, every inventor who tinkered in a workshop, and every revolutionary who dreamed of a better world. The legacy they have left us is not just a collection of facts, but a world of incredible potential, armed with more knowledge and more power than any previous generation in history. The challenges we face are immense. We are grappling with a changing climate, navigating the complexities of a globalized economy, and learning to live with technologies of unprecedented power, from artificial intelligence to genetic engineering. These are not small problems, but as our journey has shown, humanity has faced existential threats before. We have survived ice ages, pandemics, and devastating wars. We have overcome our limitations time and time again through cooperation, ingenuity, and our relentless capacity to learn and adapt. The story of our past is the greatest evidence we have for hope in our future. The most powerful tool we have for writing this next chapter is the one that started our journey in the first place: curiosity. The desire to know, to understand, to ask why, and what if. This is the engine of all discovery and all progress. We must never lose our sense of wonder about the world and our place in it. Stay curious about the past, for it holds the keys to the present. Stay curious about the sciences, for they are the tools we use to build the future. Stay curious about each other, for in our shared humanity lies our greatest strength. Every question you ask adds a new sentence to our collective story. This has been just one telling of our incredible journey, a brief glimpse into an immense and fascinating saga. There is so much more to discover, so many more stories to tell. If this exploration of our shared past has sparked your curiosity, I invite you to continue the journey. Subscribe for more stories that delve into the wonders of our universe and the epic adventure of humanity. The cosmos is waiting, and our story is still being written. Let's keep exploring it together.